What's up, y'all? Welcome back to Twisted Twenties. This is a podcast dedicated to reminding you of your God given purpose through personal testimonies, trials, and personal revelations. I believe that each and every single one of us was created with a purpose. For a purpose, and it is up to us to align with it. I'm your host, T. Louise, and I am so excited for this new season of Twisted Twenties, this new space that God is taking me in. It is just it's been so impactful in my life, and the things that I'm sharing with you this season is going to be very important things that I hope and I pray that will impact you as well as it's impacted my life. If you guys would love to be a co-host on Twisted Twenties, please send me a 1 to 2 minute video at submissions@twistedtwenties.org. And if you don't want to be a co-host, you can still email me at the same email, sending me advice questions, sending me topics that you guys would like me to talk about, reviews, anything of that nature as well. Today's episode is called Personal Hard Truths. These are things that I have personally had to face, that I was trying to ignore, or things that I didn't want to recognize about myself in general. And so I pray that after this episode, it will cause you to have a personal hard truth moment with yourself. So with that being said, we are going to go ahead and get into today's podcast episode. All right, y'all. So as y'all can tell by this title, Personal Hard Truths, today's episode is not one of those episodes that's like, you got this, girl, you got this. No, today's episode is going to cause you to really look in the mirror and face your own personal hard truths. Because sometimes, if we are being honest, it's a you problem. It's not someone else's fault. It's not a financial problem. It's not a fate. It's a you problem. You are the problem. Okay? You are the problem. And sometimes we don't like to face the fact that we are the problem. And some personal hard truths that I really had to deal with was that I was lazy, that I was inconsistent, that I didn't believe in myself, that I had lack of faith. And there's a whole list that I really could go on and on about. But I would just name those to start off. But I definitely felt like I had to take a look in the mirror. And I had to understand that I was the problem. I was the reason why I didn't want to be, that I was the problem for the reason why I wasn't where I wanted to be. I was the problem when it came to my business not being successful. I was the problem when my content wasn't where I wanted it to be. I was the problem when I haven't grown my platform in the way that I wanted it to grow. I was the problem. And oftentimes, we can blame, oh, well, I got to work, or, oh, I got to pay my bills. I don't have time to do this. I don't have time to do that. But we make time for everything else. I was making time to watch my Netflix shows, my Hulu shows. I make time to play video games, play GTA with my sister. I make time to go to the movies. I make time to do a whole bunch of nothing. But I never would make time to actually learn a new skill. I never would make time to actually focus on my content. I never would make time to actually educate myself on the things that I needed to educate myself on in order to grow my platforms, in order to grow my business, in order to become healthier. I never would do any of those things. My mama used to tell me all the time, and because she was a cusser, I'm gonna change it up for y'all. She would always tell me excuses are like buttholes. Everybody has one. Everybody has an excuse for why they can't do this. Everybody has an excuse for why they're not where they want to be. Everybody has an excuse on, oh, well, my business failed because of this. Everybody has an excuse. We all got excuses. We all do. But at some point, you have to stop and realize, is it an excuse? Is it a valid excuse, or is it a me problem? And I don't even think excuses are really valid. Honestly, now that I've said that aloud, but really and truly, is it a valid excuse, or is it a me problem? Is your excuse, I was tired from work. But you got off of work and you literally was up for 4 hours binge watching a Netflix series, when you could have been spending maybe even 3 of those hours learning something to have to do with your business, and then spending the other hour watching TV. I think the issue comes in is when we don't prioritize. Like, me and Babe was just having this conversation yesterday, and I told him, he was talking about, I'm trying to figure out how to balance our relationship, balance work, and also balance pursuing what he wants to pursue. And, I told him, I said, babe, I said, I feel like our issue is that we don't do enough. We don't prioritize the right things. We prioritize every single thing. And I'll give y'all an example. And yes, I'm going to be talking about him today. Hope he won't be mad. He'll be okay. So, Babe wants to start a gaming channel, okay? But he plays the video games every day, okay? So, his excuse is, or I'm not going to say excuse, but his reasoning for him not being able to pursue his gaming channel right now is that he feels like he doesn't have time, or that he can't balance our relationship, his job, and the gaming channel, or he's trying to figure it all out. So my view on that is, babe, yes, you can. Like, you come home from work and you play games for fun when you come home from work. Instead, why don't you take an hour or 2 out of that fun playtime, and why don't you put that towards pursuing your gaming channel, actually recording real content for your gaming channel, and then spend the rest of the time playing for fun? And I think what it really boils down to is our priorities. Is it something that we really want to do? Can I really do this? Do I believe that I can really do this? And do I actually want to do it? Because this is the problem. The problem is we say we're going to do something, but then we don't actually do the work. We don't actually put the time in to actually do what we say that we're going to do. For me, I'm going to start a YouTube channel. Okay, I have not recorded any content, but I have been working on the back end of things. I've revamped my YouTube channels. I gave it a facelift. I've been working on my scheduling, all these different type of things. Even though I haven't recorded my content yet, I'm taking the necessary steps to start planning, because I've come to a point now where it's like, I don't want to do anything without a plan anymore, because I used to just come up with the idea and then just do it. And that was my problem. I never would go in with, I would never go in on an idea with a full plan. I never had a plan. I would just do it. Whatever idea came to my mind, I would just do it. I never had a plan. And so this time I'm like, no, I have to be strategic with my YouTube channel. I have to be strategic with any content that I put out. So with that being said, excuses are like buttholes. Everybody has one. Take the blame for yourself, and stop trying to blame everything else around you. Take the blame for yourself, because it's your fault that you're not where you want to be. It's your fault that your channels are not growing the way you wanted to. It's your fault that your business isn't successful. It's your fault, because you're not doing enough. You are not strategically. You are not determined. Is that the word I'm looking for? You are not strategically, and you are not, I hear the word in my head, but it's not coming out. What is the word I'm looking for? You are not strategically, and you are not dedicated. I'll say that because I can't remember the other word. You are not dedicated the way that you need to be dedicated to executing your plans. Another thing I think that holds us up and how we get hung up is that we do not have a plan. We just have an idea and we're like, okay, this is what I want to do. But then we have no plan on how to execute it. That is why I have not put out any any videos on my YouTube channel. I'm not going to put out any videos until I have a thorough plan of how I'm going to execute my channel, how I'm going to execute my content in the best way that I can. I'm just not, because logically I'm thinking to myself, if I don't have a plan and I just have an idea and I put it out, I'm not going to succeed, because in the past I've done that. And in the past I have not succeeded. And not having a plan was one of the worst things that I ever could have done. Hang-ups put us in stagnation or disobedience. When we get in a hang-up, and I would say for me, my personal hang-ups were when I wouldn't create a plan. And then when I would fail or it didn't succeed, I would just give up. I would give up. And it would take me a while to try again, or I just wouldn't try again at all because I failed. I felt like a failure. Stagnation, another thing I've learned through this journey that I'm on so far, because it's not finished. But so far I've learned that for me, I've moved in stagnation due to a lot of things. Not just because of hang-ups, not just because I failed, but due to fear, trauma, depression, childhood traumas, unforgiveness, unwillingness to surrender my life to God. That was like one of the main things that would cause me to move in stagnation, because I was double-minded. I was always fighting my will with his will. And that was another reason why I would not be successful, because I was always fighting his will. And I never was really ready to surrender and embrace the process that God was trying to take me on. I just have come to a point where I just want to allow God to clean me, rinse me, and wash me. And I've learned that in order for us to really do anything that God needs us to do, we have to allow him, or we have to embrace the process that he's trying to take us through. We literally just talked about this at church yesterday. Like, our pastor was talking, our pastor said that, and I like to read word for word because I like to quote him directly. But our pastor said that potential can never be revealed until process is embraced. You have to allow God to take you through a process. And I used to be one of those people, like, I didn't like process. I like stuff to be immediate, overnight type of thing. And God was like, it takes time. It takes time. Like, even sometimes I still get to this point where I'm like, God, I want to be healed already. God, I'm tired of dealing with this grief. Like, I literally just had a moment like that last night where I'm like, God, like, I feel like I'm not doing enough. I feel like I'm not reading my Bible enough. I feel like I'm not spending enough time with you. And I got to this point and I was like, God, I just cried out and I'm like, God, I don't want to feel like I keep using my mom's death as an excuse for me moving in stagnation. And, you know, babe told me, he was like, you need to give yourself grace. You're being too hard on yourself. And I think for me, it's like one of the hardest things is that I never really understood how much my mom's death really affected me mentally, emotionally, even physically. I never understood that. And so I can't even allow myself to grieve properly without feeling like I'm not doing enough. I can't even allow myself to be in a place where I feel sad or depressed for just a few moments without feeling like I'm supposed to already be healed. And God is taking me through a healing process right now because I'm in trauma therapy. I'm in therapy. I'm actually talking about what's really going on this time. But God is taking me through a process. He is taking me through a full-blown healing process. And even though I'm in the middle of this process, I'm still being hard on myself. So another thing I want to say to you, from babe to me to y'all, is give yourself grace. Because when you are in the process that God is taking you through, it's not an overnight process. Sometimes it's a 6-month process. Sometimes it's a year process. Sometimes it's 6 years, 2 years, 5. You just never know how long your process is. But you have to be willing to do the work in your process. Even when no one is watching, even when nobody is buying your product, even when nobody is listening to your podcast, even when nobody knows who you are, you still have to be willing to do the work that God needs you to do. Moving forward in your purpose and God's will for your life is so important. You have to be willing. And that was something that I finally came to terms to in February when I told God, okay, God, whatever you need me to do, I will do it. But I've also come to a point where I can't afford to keep, every time God gives me a next step, I can't afford to just move in stagnation. Like, I shouldn't get to a point where I'm about to have another mental breakdown or an emotional breakdown and be like, okay, God, now I'm going to do what you need me to do again. I'm going to finally do step 2. No, when God gives me a step, I should just say, okay, God, I'm going to do it. And I should come up with a plan to do it instead of being stagnant and holding off on it and being fearful to do it. But the truth is that I always have an excuse. You always have an excuse for why you have not started that business. You always have an excuse for why you haven't been consistent with your goals and your dreams. You always have an excuse for why you haven't started your YouTube channel. You always have an excuse for why you haven't done any of the things that you said that you're going to do. You always have an excuse. But really, it's a priority problem. Really, you have not placed priority on your goals. And I'm not saying by any means neglect your bills, neglect your household. That's not what I'm saying. But what I am saying is sometimes when you come off of your 9-to-5 job, you still have to pursue your goals. And what I've learned is even, I'll say it to you like this. Could you work at your 9-to-5 job for the next 5 years? Could you work at your 9-to-5 job for the next 10 years? Because when you are not pursuing your dreams and your goals at the same time, you will continue to be in the same space that you are in. And I'm going to say it like that. Versus when you work at your 9-to-5 job and when you get off of your job, even though you're tired, you still hustling on your clothing brand. You still hustling on your YouTube channel. You still hustling on that online ministry. You're still hustling on whatever it is that you feel like God has placed on your heart to do. You still come home after you've been exhausted from your full-time job and you still pursue what it is that God needs you to pursue. We can no longer use excuses like, oh, I was tired. Yes, get your rest. But don't rest so much that you neglect your purpose. Don't rest so much that you neglect whatever it is that God has placed on your heart to do. Because when you do that, you will always be where you are. You got people saying, I'm tired of working at this job. I'm tired of working this 9-to-5. What are you doing to secure a lifestyle that you will never have to go back to your 9-to-5? What are you doing in this very moment that is securing your life so that you do not have to go back to what you don't like to do? What are you doing besides giving excuses? So I want you to look in the mirror. Take a look at yourself, at your life, at your everyday routine. What are you doing? What courses are you investing in? You got a full-time job? What courses are you investing in? What new things are you reading? What books are you reading to educate yourself on whatever it is that you're trying to do? Got some prayer journal prompts for y'all today. Just 2. Prayer journal prompt number 1 is, God, reveal to me my own personal hard truths that I need to face in order to move forward in my purpose. Sometimes God has to reveal them to us. And it's not to condemn us, it's to convict us. because he knows our beginning from the end. He knows our beginning to the end. And he knows our chapter 4 that we're in right now. But he's talking to us from chapter 6. And he's letting us know that we have to let go of certain things. We have to forgive certain people. We have to let go of certain jobs, and we have to go where he's telling us to go, but we won't do it because we're afraid. God revealed to me my own personal hard truths so that God revealed to me my own personal hard truths that I need to face in order to move forward in my purpose. Prayer journal prompt number 2 is God revealed to me what areas of my life, past or present, have caused me to be stagnant in my purpose. He will reveal these things to you if you ask him. Asking, you shall receive. Be mindful and be open to hearing what he has to say. Because I'm telling you, he only wants what's best for us. He only wants good for us. You know, after my mom passed, I felt so angry with God. I couldn't understand why my mom had to go the way that she did. I couldn't even understand why she had to go. Period. Point blank, period. And even sometimes now I still feel a little upset, confused, and irritated. But I do believe that even in the midst of all of that, even through the midst of all the trauma that I've gone through, I do believe that somehow, some way, that it's all going to connect under one umbrella with my purpose. I believe that. Because honestly, I probably would have never started this podcast if I didn't feel that I needed an outlet to talk about how I felt or what I was going through. I'm going to read the prompts one more time. The first one is God revealed to me my own personal hard truths that I need to face in order to move forward in my purpose. Number 2 is God revealed to me what areas of my life, past or present, have caused me to be stagnant in my purpose. I hope that you will not continue to be stagnant in your purpose, because there is someone out there that needs to hear your story. There is someone out there that needs to hear what you have to say. There is someone out there that right now has gone through the same thing or is going through the same thing that you have gone through, and they don't know if they're going to make it. There is someone out there that wants to start a clothing brand that's scared to start it because everybody's doing the same thing, quote unquote. They don't think that they are going to stand out. They don't think that they can make money doing what they love to do. But you are supposed to be that example of, yes, they can. So I pray that this episode will help you to understand that your purpose is bigger than you. And that excuses are like buttholes, and everybody has one. And you have to stop making excuses. You have to stop moving stagnant. And finally face your personal hard truths. I love you guys. Peace, love, and blessings. T. Louise.